Good
Good
afternoon to
afternoon.
all of you. So, myself, Professor Sunita Chan, I welcome all of you to the fifth Shiksha Anusandhan weekly academic lecture organized by the Center for Applied Mathematics and Computing. Today, our topic for the webinar is Mastering Python for Data Science. And we have Dr. Praveen Kumar, Assistant Professor and Head of the Department of Mathematics, Government Syama Prasad Mukherjee College of Sitapur, Chhattisgarh, as our esteemed speaker who will enlighten us on the above topic. Dr. P.K. Sahu has pursued his doctorate degree in 2017 from Motilal Nehru, NIT Allahabad. Dr. Sahu has qualified both in CSIR NET and GATE in 2012. He has completed his MSc and MPhil from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur. Dr. Sahu has published 13 research articles in peer-reviewed journals, 3 conference proceedings, and 2 book chapters. Dr. Sahu was awarded the gold medal for scoring highest marks in physics in BSc from Pandit Ravi Shankar Shukla University, Raipur in 2007. Dr. Sahu has also received commendation from the Chhattisgarh Rajya Yuva Ayog for working as the nodal officer in Youth Ekatmata competition in 2018. Sir, now I welcome you to deliver your talk. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are
Yes.
audible.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, ma'am. First of all, I would like to thank Center of Applied Mathematics and Computing, especially Manjulasa Das ma'am and Atul Rai sir, for giving me opportunity to share my knowledge and opportunity with the audience of this through this program. Let me share. Is my slide is visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay, so this is going to be an introductory lecture on how to use Python for data analysis. So these are the outline of this lecture. Data science has been a trending field of study of recent time. That is because of amount of data we create constantly and the computing power that available with advanced machine technology. But what is a data science? We can understand it with this simple example. Think about what happened when we book a ride on Uber or Ola. What we do, we open a Uber or Ola app on our phone and tell the app where we want to go. Uber and Ola tries to find the nearest cab in the direction where we are and take us to our destination. That was very simple. But in the background, this seemingly simple task is carried out by collecting mountains of data from various sources, like the phone, the map, the traffic, the domain of the ride. With this data, the modern computer technology and program calculate the nearest driver to you, the best route to your location and destination, the time it will take, and what you should pay. In other words, this is possible with data science. Data science has countless other applications as well. It is a we can say it is an intersection of statistics, data analysis, and machine learning. It is a combination of scientific method, algorithm, and models working together to extract actionable business insight from the data. Now, the objective of this lecture is to give an idea on how to work with the real data. You might have learned many methodology, but choosing the right one is very important. If you look at the picture, how the person is using his tool, there are ladders, but the person is not knowing how to use the ladder for the purpose it is intended. Because of the computer development in computer technology, there are many packages available for data analysis, but the real threat is lack of fundamental understanding of why to use a particular technique, how to use it correctly, and how to correctly interpret the result. So there are generally three terms: variable, measurement, and data, that is used frequently. So first of all, we will see what is a variable. Uh, Variable is a characteristic of any entity being studied that is capable of taking on different value. So for example, x is a variable. It can take any value. It may be 1, it may be 2, or it may be 0, and so. And what is measurement? It is a standard process used to assign number to particular attribute or characteristic of a variable. So there is a variable and we measure the phenomena, and after measuring the phenomena you are substituting a value to the variable. So the variable takes a value, and that value is nothing but your data. For example, if x is a variable and number 5 is the data, it means 5 is the value of the variable x, then uh, 5 is our data, and how we are measuring the 5, that is called the measurement. Now, what is generating so much data? Data can be generated by humans, by machine, or human-machine combination. Human-machine combination means, in the sense that nowadays everybody has many social networking account, like everyone has a account in Facebook, Twitter, etc. So now the availability of data is not a problem. It can be generated anywhere where any information is generated and stored in structured or unstructured format. Next, we will see what is a data life cycle. Overall, what happens? Data is stored in different format. We can have a CSV file, Excel file, HTML file, and so the data is stored in a different format. What we do, we convert the data or transform the data into a single form, and we store it somewhere. That's how the data warehouse comes into the picture. Once we store our data, we can perform certain analysis on data, and once we have done the analysis, we can plot in the form of graphs and charts, and that step is called the data visualization. So it is just an overview of the data life cycle. Now, how the data add value to the business? So the data, after getting it after getting it from various sources, is stored in the form of a data warehouse. From the data warehouse, data can be used for the development of data product. The same data can be used to get more insight about the data. What we mean by data product? Data product means algorithm solution in production, like in marketing and sales. For example, recommendation engine. Like if you go to Amazon or Flipkart to buy a particular product, the software itself recommend you what is the next possible product you can buy. That is nothing but the recommendation engine. Also, even if you watch a YouTube video on some particular topic, YouTube itself suggests you what are the relevant videos available. So these are the recommendation engine. This is one of the example of the data product. So from the data, we can develop either a data product, or we can go inside to the data that will add a business value for the business. Now, these are the example of data products. This is a driverless car, the Google car. The whole concept of Google cars is, from the data, it is detecting all other requirement required for driving a car. The next example is recommendation engine. As I have already told you that if we buy a product, they will suggest you what along with this product, the other possible product you can buy. Another very common example of data product is Google Mapping. So the Google Mapping is helping you to find the right route, on which route there is less traffic, and in which route there is a toll plaza. This kind of information we can get from the Google Map. So the Google Map is one of the example of the data product. Now, why data is important? Data helps us in making better decision. Data helps us in to solve by finding the reason for underperformance. Suppose one company is not performing well. Then by collecting the data, we can identify what are the reasons for their underperformance. So it can be used to identify the current performance. It can be used for benchmarking the performance. So after benchmarking the performance, the data can be used to improve our performance. Data can also help us to improve our performance. Data helps us to understand the consumer and the market, especially in the marketing context. We can identify who are the right consumer and what kind of preferences they have in the market. Now, data analytics and its type. Data analytics is defined as the scientific process of transforming data into insight for making better decisions. Without the data and without the analysis also, we can make decisions, but we can't make better decisions without data analysis. By virtue of our intuition and experience, you can take decision, but this and that decision can be also sometimes correct. But with the help of data, if you are making the decision, it will enable you to make better decision. Professor James Evans has defined the data analytics as the use of data information technology, statistical analysis, quantitative method, and mathematical model to help manager to get improved insight about their business operation and make better fact-based decisions. Generally, there is a confusion between for the students that whether the analysis and analytics are same or different. We will see this in the next slide. But first of all, briefly, we'll see why analytics are important. Analytics is important because it helps us to determine predictions for developing new medicine, especially in the healthcare sector. Healthcare analytics are emerging. That is helping you to identify the correct medicine. And data analytics can also help us to deliver products and services. It can also help us to preventing fraud. For example, in the banking context, the data analysis is used for preventing fraud. With the data analysis, you can identify the possible cyber crime, and we can detect it and we can prevent it. And the data analysis is also important for retaining the most valuable customer. We can identify who is our valuable customer and who are non-valuable customers, so that we can focus on our valuable customer. Now, the data analysis is what is a data analysis? Data analysis is the process of examining, transforming, and arranging raw data in a specific way to generate useful information from it. So, when we see data analysis, it is something that has happened in the past. So, we will explain why this is happened and how this is happened. For example, when we say that the data analysis, that is nothing but studying about what is happened. This is a kind of post-mortem analysis. But when we see the analytics, it is studying about what will happen in the future. And with the help of analytics, we can predict and explore possible future events. So the analytics may be qualitative or quantitative. If you see quality analytics, this is the decision mostly based on the intuition. But if we, in the quantity, we make decision on the basis of algorithm and formulas. In the analysis also, we have qualitative and quantitative. In the quality analysis, we explain how and why the story ends in the way it did. But in the quantity analysis, for example, we explain how the sale decreased in the last summer. So in short, the analysis is studying about the past, and analytics is discussing about the future event based on the past data. So analysis is not exactly equal to analytics. Similarly, data analysis and data analytics are different. Now the classification of data analytics. There are basically 4 types of data analytics. If we see the graph, this shows the difficulty level of all these 4 types. If we see the difficulty level, we find that the prescriptive analytics has more difficulty. Also, it has the more value. So if the difficulty increases, the value also increases. Value in the sense, the business value it gives to us. Next, we will see why analytics is important. This picture is showing a Google trend. It is up to 2017, and this is up to 2018. The blue line represents the data scientist, and the yellow color is showing the statistician or operation research. As we can see, the trends are increasing. Means the people are searching in Google search engine the word data scientist more number of times. So the search count is increasing. Means there is a demand for the data scientist. Also, we can see in this graph that the Google search engine trend, the trend for data science, big data, machine learning, all these things are increasing. So there is a demand for the picture is a newspaper from Times of India. This shows that in India there are data scientists are earning more than the CS and engineers. So this shows that there are so many news coming about the data scientist. This is also a newspaper clip. So it is an emerging field, and many companies are looking for the qualified data scientist. Recently, during the I think last 1.5 year, during the first lockdown, IT Madras had declared a program on first online based program, which is in data science, in programming and data science. So it is an emerging field. Next, we will see the element of the data analysis, as we have already seen with this we have already seen. Next, I will move to what is the prerequisite skill. So to become a data analysis or scientist, you need to have a basic knowledge of mathematics. Next, you need to have the knowledge of technology and hacking skill. Hacking is generally looked in different way. Hacking in the sense, if the data is given to you, how to use the data to get more information. And the next component is you should have a business or strategy business domain knowledge. You should also have. So these three skills required to become a good data scientist. It is very difficult that one person can have all these three skills. That is why the availability of good data scientists is very difficult. Because some people may be very good in mathematics, but they don't have the knowledge of business. Similarly, the some people can maybe have very good technology skill, but they don't have the business knowledge. So we need to have a combination of all these three skills. Otherwise, what can we do? The group of people, some people from mathematics department, some from the computer science, and some from the domain knowledge, they all have to work together to form a good data scientist group. Now, very briefly, I will explain what is the difference between data analyst and data scientist. And the difference is the role they played. The role of data analysis, say, in the business context, he may has a knowledge of business domain. For example, he is good in doing analysis in the area of marketing. Uh, then he is a marketing analyst. If a person is from financial area, he may be called financial analyst. But the role of data scientist is little bigger because data scientists need to require knowledge of advanced algorithm and machine learning, and it has to come with a data product. What is a data product? We have already seen what are the data products. So the next question is, who can become a data scientist? Anybody can become a data scientist. Just we need to have some basic prerequisite skill like mathematics, analytical reasoning, ability to work with data, visualization technique, excellent business acumen domain. We should have knowledge of data engineering also. So anyone, either it is from non-technical background or he is from technical background, he can become a data scientist. The only thing is to understanding the possibility and asking the right question, all in the search for the best answer. And today, nowadays, every company is flooded it with data. So data scientists play a key role for your organization future success. It means it is a, in short, very emerging field. This is for a student. If they are keen to pursue data sciences as a career, you need to understand that data sciences is a skill that you should learn from expert. So they can take any degree like MBA in data science, MSc in applied data science, PG diploma, and PG diploma in machine learning, artificial intelligence. Nowadays, there are many courses running in this day. And as we have already seen, the IT Madras has also started the first online BSc degree program. This is a reference book we can, for the beginner, they can start with this book. Today we are going to learn Python, and the reason is it is very easy to learn. Most importantly, it is a freeware software and open source software. It is a user interpreted, and it means it is not a compiler. What we mean by compiler and interpreter is that you need a compiler to solve the whole program, but the interpreter is not in that way. They can interpret the one sentence also. Means a one line program can also be run in the Python. It is a dynamically typed in the sense that in some other programming language, you have to declare variable every time. What is the nature of the variable? Means whether it is an integer, it is a float, like that. But here you may not need to do this. Dynamically it takes the value. It is extensible. Extensible in the sense if you make a code or program in some other language, that can be extended with the help of the Python. It can be embedded. Embedded in the sense if you made a program with Python, it can be embedded with some other platform also. And it has a very extensive library. Why Python has a used in many desktop and web application, networking application, the most important in the data analysis or data science, also in machine learning, Internet of Things, artificial application, etc. Next, I am in this for this lecture, I am going to use Jupyter Notebook for my IDE. IDE means Integrated Development Environment. There is a one more IDE that is PyCharm, but personally I feel Jupyter is more better because PyCharm is making somewhat slow. The system making is slow. But the choosing the best IDE is the what is your requirement, and with working with different IDE help you to understand what is your whole requirement, and according to your requirement you can choose your IDE. Now I will switch to hands-on session. Uh,
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
You're
Yes,
Am I
audible,
audible?
clearly
My
audible.
speech is visible or not? Okay, 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 okay. Thank you. Now we have to install an Anaconda, and here I have installed the Jupyter Notebook. What we have to do, we have to just launch the Jupyter Notebook, and like this, we will get a interface like this. Next, what we have to do, suppose I have to make a new file. So we can make a file. Here it is untitled. We can give here any name like basic or fundamental, like this. This is the slide I have. So from here, what we do, we can. This is the input command. We have to input here. In this Python, we use hashtag command for running for our comments. We can let me show it. Let me making it heading. And for running the command, what we do, either we click on this run button, or we can also press shift plus enter together. Now, let me first import pandas. Just to save time, I am copying and pasting. First of all, we have to import Panda. Panda is a tool for data processing which helps us in data analysis. It provides the function and method uh, to for efficiently manipulating the large data set. And what is a NumPy? NumPy is actually a fundamental package for scientific computing in which is used in Python. So it contains a powerful n-dimensional array object, and it is very useful in performing linear algebra, Fourier transform, random number cases. When you and like this Matplotlib. And what is Matplotlib? Matplotlib is basically a data visualization model that we used in Python. Now let me start with some basic things. Suppose we want to start with series. So what is a series? Series is just a one-dimensional array. Suppose we have a list of data. Just to save time, I'm just copy pasting. Series just a one-dimensional. Like we have a suppose we have a data 02468, and we have put it in the series form. Why I have used here PD? PD is just the short form of Panda. So now, just after putting S1, shift plus enter, we will see the our series. Here you can see we have indexing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the data is 0, 2, 4, 6, and 8. You can see this Python is running on the local host. So can anyone tell me what is the local host? Local host is means it's a local server, local port on which web can run. Means if we are installing the Python in our laptop, then our laptop or system works as a local host or local server. Next, let me show you. Acha, by simply writing S1, or we can also write print S1 command we can use to show our data. Next, let me move here. Now, here indexing is in the form of 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we can also modify our index. Suppose I want to put ABCD as my index, then simply I have to give command S1 index is equal to ABCDE. This will show the output ABCD. This will show the change the index, and our data is same. Suppose this can be used, for example, suppose we have a student's name and their marks. So we can create a series with the name of the student and their marks. We can also create a random series. Random series means it will give me random number. As anytime I will run, it will give me the random number. So you can see you have a random number between 0 and 1. We can create like this. We can create series with the index in ABC. Next, I am moving to slicing. Now, once we have the series S1, we can sort the data. We can slice the data. Suppose from here, like we have series S1 is 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 5 data are there. We want to slice only the 3 data, up to 3 data. So we use the command S1.3, it will show the 3 data. And like this. And we can do any number of command, like we can append two series. We have series S1 and we have series S1. We can append both of them, and you can see they kept their own indexing. If S1 is AB, S1 has index ABCD, capital ABCD, and S3 is index small ABCD. They are append or combined. We can also drop a term. Suppose we want to drop this last term, we can drop. But it doesn't change the series. If we print again as put, it will show the all term up to E. Now, next I will move to series operation. We can perform any series operation, any type of operation using, like suppose we have series S5 and we have series S1. We can add, we can subtract, we can multiply, anything we can do. But we should be careful while adding with the series. Suppose this series has 5 term and the series S6 has we have 7 term. If we add this both this series S5 using the command S5 dot add S6, what it will do? It will add the term up to 5 term. But after that, it is showing NaN, not a number, because in the series S5 we don't have any number to add in the series S7. So we should be careful before doing this all this operation. And similarly, we can subtract, we can multiply, we can divide, we can do any mathematical operation. Also, we can do any statistical operation, like we can find the mean, maximum, minima. We can do this. We can find the median, mean, mode, anything by using this. Now, very quickly, I will move to an important function. It is a lambda function. Python is actually a procedure-oriented program. So there are generally two types of function. One is a lambda function and user-defined function. Lambda is just a keyword. It's not a name. It's just a keyword. What we can do with using lambda function, we can perform any mathematical operation using this lambda function. So like, let me do it. So what we do here, we are storing x multiplied with x in this a. Suppose if I am giving the value a5, then what will get? I will get 5 into 5 multiplied is 25. We can also add, we can also divide. So using this lambda function, we can perform any mathematical operation. Next, very quickly I want to move to data frame. Uh, Data frame, what is a data frame? Data frame is a two-dimensional array. Basically, series are the part of the data frame. If you have never worked with a data frame before, you can say it is like an Excel sheet. Means there are rows, there are columns, and you have data. You can access your data by rows, by columns, like that. It is like a in sort of an Excel data sheet, but it is optimized to run large data set in your system or in your computer. Let me show you how to create a. Uh, Suppose I am putting just data set. Data set means date sheet means it is showing the date. Today is 28, then 29, and the is showing the current time 15:4, 15:5. Then we can just create a random number with six cross four dimension, and I am giving an index number. Using all this data, we can create a data frame. Suppose I am using data frame, just df means data frame 1, that it will no, it is putting the date and time as the indexing number, and abcd are the column number as I have defined here. abcd of the column name, and the data is the random number. Data can be here as a random number. We can also create data frame using dictionary array, like suppose we have animal name of the animals, cat, snake, dog, all this thing, and what is their age. If you don't know, if you don't know the age, we just put NaN, we don't know. And the visits to the doctor means whether they are visiting to the doctor or not, means our pet animal should be healthy, and these are the label. Like this we can create data frame. Now, very quickly, I would like to move how to work with real data. This is the main thing I want to come. Let me show a data set. Is it visible? I am showing you a IPL data set, means that data set of
Visible.
IPL visible. No? So there are country name, name of the player, runs, wicket, all these things are there. It's old data. It is of IPL 2013, but so there are number of players and all this. Now we will see how we can work with this real data. So first of all, what we have to do, we have to load our data. How we can load data? What we have to do? There are actually two ways. One thing is we can either upload data. I will click on upload. Then we have to choose this is our CSV file or whatever file where our data is stored. Then we have to upload it. Since I have already uploaded, it is showing override. Let me. So first of all, we have to upload data. Then what we have to do? We have to use the command pd.read underscore CSV or to, and we have to specify the name of the CSV. By using this, we have created the IPL auction data frame, DF for data frame. And just by simply clicking on DF, we can see the it is showing the type means type of DF means it is showing that it is a data frame file. Another way, you can simply put the location. In my file is on the desktop, so I have to put desktop dot the name of the file, and it will load the data file into the data of DF6 data frame 6. You can see the data is uploaded in the DF6 data. So what is a read underscore CSV? It is an inbuilt function of Panda which allows storing data from CSV file to memory variable. Here, what we have used here, IPL auction dot d and IPL underscore auction underscore df is the memory variable where we are going to store the CSV file. Now, I will move. Suppose I want to see the first 5 record of the data file. I have to use the command. I have to give the name of the data frame. Then I have to use the command dot head 5. If I put 5 here, it will show me the 5 record, top 5 record, starting with the indexing 0. If I will put here 15, it will show me the top 15 record. Because it is a very large data set, it is dot 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 all this. So we can see any number of data. Now, command to list out all the columns. Suppose I want to see what are my columns in the data set. We have to use the command list uh, dot and the name of the data frame dot column. It will show me all the name of the column. You can verify it from here. The player name, age, country, team, all these things are there. Next, if you want to know the shape of our data frame, we have to use the command dot shape, and it will show us that 130 cross 26 means there are 130 rows and 26 column in our data frame. Now, there is a command dot info. By using this command, we know the data metadata. Metadata means data of data. So it shows that there are serial number 130 null integer objects. Null means they are objects. They are not any bracket. They are not blank. Means they are 130 objects is there. Player names, they are object type. Age of integer kind, they are 130 value. So by using dot info command, we get that metadata means data of our data set or data file. To display 5 record, this is the another command. We have already seen this. Next, for to display last 5 record, we use -5 -1. So it will show the last 5 record. If I will do 6, it will show the last 6 record. Next, I location, there is a command to identify a particular element of our data set. By using I location, you can identify, suppose I want to see the record from 4th row to 9th row and 1th row to 1 to 4th column and 4th to 9th row. I use using we can do it using I location command. Next, so now moving to some important function. Now using the dot value underscore counts, it will count the total number of value stored in the column. Suppose we are doing here IPL auction df dot country dot value counts name. So in the country column, it will counts the value. So by doing this, we know that there are 53 players from India, 22 players from Australia, 16 players are from South Africa, like this. And we can also do some calculation here, like to see the percentage. This is the total number of players. Now I want to see the percentage. For this, what I do, just value count and to normalize is equal to true. When we say normalize is equal to true, it returns the relative frequency by dividing all values by the sum of values. So, like here, 53 is divided by 130. So we get here that 40% players are from India. By using this command, we came to know that 40% players are from India, 16% are from Australia, 12% are from South Africa, like this. Now, moving to cross step function. One more thing here, we are looking here only after decimal, we can see only 3 values. Why we are seeing only 3 values? Because in the starting, I have defined it. In the starting, I have by using the lambda function, I have defined that after decimal, it will show me only 3 decimal points. We can change it according to our demand and requirement. Now, I will move to another important function, cross tab. Cross tab is used when you want to divide data based on some criteria. Suppose I want to divide the data based on criteria age and the playing rule. As we can see in our data, there is a column age 1 to 3. 1 to 3. 1 means 1 to 3 means 1 means younger player, 2 means they are some middle-aged player, and 3 means they are the senior player. I want to actually divide data based on some criteria. So here I am dividing the data using the age and playing role. Like for doing the chi-square test and all this thing, we have to divide our data. So this is a very important. function. By using this, we can divide our data, and we can identify that in age group 1 there are 4 all-rounders, 5 batsmen, 7 bowler, and no wicket keeper is there. In age group 2, in age group 3, we can see what are the data. Now sorting of data. We can also sort our data. Suppose I want to sort the player name and what is their sold price. So it will just sort our data according to sold price in a ascending order. We can see the price is increasing. So in the 73 means the player number 74 in the data file it is 74. This is and it shows is sold price also. We can also create a new column. Suppose we want to create a new column premium means what I am doing here, I am doing some calculation also and creating a new column. I want to subtract sold price from the base price and I am putting it into the new variable premium and creating a new column. So suppose now I want to see my data, it will show me the base price, sold price, and premium. So we can see which player is sold in premium. If the base price is same as the sold price, then the premium is 0. But if base price is less than the sold price, then the player is sold in premium. So we can do some calculation also. Here what we have done, we have subtracted here and sold price and base price and stored into another variable premium. So we have also created a new column premium. The premium is not in our data file. Now, what will be the, now move to the next command. Can anyone explain me what will the output of this command? What I have done here, I have putting ascending is equal to false. So it will what it do, it will show the premium player in descending order. By doing this command we can see the who is the costliest player in the IPL, and we found that by arranging it in descending order we found that Virat Kohli is the costliest player in the IPL. Next we can do some calculation also, like we can find the mean, median, mode, like that. By doing this we found that the in age group 1 players are getting more money, means young player are getting more money and the middle age player are getting moderate and even the senior players are getting more money, more prize in the IPL. So by doing these things, by using this command we can do some calculation also. A variety of calculation can be done. Now I want to let me do one more command. By using this command we have sorted our data by age and role. So what we have done, we have sorted age and their playing role and what is their sold price. Now I want to move the next important topic, data visualization. Data visualization is very important because generally we have to represent data to others, so we must have a very good charts and plots so other people can understand our analysis. For this, we have to use Matplotlib and Sunburn package. These are the packages for graphical representation of data. Here I have used Sunburn as SN. So if I want to plot this data, simply I am by using the command. In x-axis, what I am doing, I am plotting the ages. In y-axis, I am plotting the sold price, and data is this data, sold price by age and role. By using this command, we can see that we can plot a beautiful chart, and we can even interpret it. We can find that in which age group there are more number of players. So by this seeing this data, we can identify in age group 1 means in younger player there are more number of players. Also the younger players are getting higher money, means we can find in which category the price is highest. In younger category the price is highest. The middle age group player are getting moderate and your senior players are getting more money. Next, I want to move to multiple bar. I don't, let me just simply show the chart. I am keeping the calculation. So by doing uh, by using this, we can plot multiple bar also. In x-axis, what we have plotted the age. In y-axis, we have plotted the sold price by age and row. By seeing this graph, we can tell we in like in age group one who is getting the highest sold price. So we can find that the batsmen are getting the highest price in age group one, meaning younger player. Suppose I want to identify in age group 3 in senior player who are getting more price. So we can identify that all rounders are getting highest price in a senior players, and the second highest is the wicket keeper. This could be our Dhoni. So by plotting the chart, we can interpret the result also. Let me move to distribution plot. It's a distribution of, if you by using the command dist plot distribution, it will show the distribution of all 130 players sold price. So by seeing this, we can identify the average sold price of player in the IPL. So we can see that the no player has sold on 20 lakhs, and the average price is 5 lakh to 10 lakh. Most of the players are sold in 5 lakh to 10 lakh, and even the most of the players are sold in 1 to 3 lakhs also. So by plotting this, we can interpret the result. Now let me show the last plot. Here what I have done, I have plotted sold price with and the player with captaincy experience and the players with no captaincy experience. So by using this graph, we can tell, anyone can tell me, sold price with captaincy experience or the price with captaincy experience are more, or the price with non-captaincy experience are more. So we can see that the red line are higher than the yellow line. So we can interpret that uh, captaincy is not so important in IPL. Means the person who don't have the captaincy experience are getting more price in IPL. So like this, we can interpret our result also. We can plot it and we can represent it to other. So this is my last plot. So this is just the first step or your machine learning, data analysis, whatever you can say. You have understood the graphical representation of data. Let me move to my slide again. So everyone starts somewhere, and the first step is where you have started your first step. You have seen the basic Python language, you have seen an introduction to data science, and you have seen the data visualization. Next, to learn Python for data science, what you have to do, you have to start with step by step. Your first step is over now. Now you can start doing mini project. Then you can learn Python data science library. Then you have to build a data science portfolio. For an aspiring data scientist, if portfolio is must, but your project should include work with several different data sets and should leave reader with interesting insight that you have gleaned or that you have. What you can do, you can take any unstructured data and you can clean up, analyze it, and you will impress potential employers, and you can create some data visualization. And next step is you have to learn the advanced data science technique. Generally, the most common question asked by student is how long it will take to learn Python. Uh, for data scientists especially, estimated range from 3 months to a year of consistency practice. Really, actually, it depends on your desired timeline, free time that you can dedicate to learn Python programming, and the pace at which you learn. So it is up to you how long it will take to learn Python. Next question is generally asked, is Python is necessary in data science field? It is possible to work with as a data scientist using either R or Python. Each language has its strength and weakness, and both are widely used in industry. Python is more popular overall, but R dominates in some industry, like in our industry, in academia, in research, R dominates. To do the data science work, you will definitely need to learn at least one of these two languages. Either you have to learn Python or R, but you have to. It is up to you. On it is your requirement what you learn. Is Python is better than R for data science? This is a constant topic of discussion in data science, but the true answer is that it depends on what you are looking for and what you like. R was built with statistics and mathematics in mind, and there are amazing packages that make it easy to use for data science. It also has a very supporting online community. But Python is a much better language for all-round work, meaning that your Python school would be more transferable to other disciplines. So keep remember to keep learning. Data science is an ever-growing field that spans numerous industries, and at the rate and that demand it is increasing, there are exponential opportunity to learn. Continue reading, collaboration, and conversing with others. You are sure to maintain interest and a competitive edge over time, and you will become a good data scientist. That's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sahu.
Thank you, sir.
Is there any questions from the audience? Please ask.
Hello,
Yeah.
sir. I have a doubt.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, I want to ask a question. Is there any book to learn Python code?
Ma'am, actually, I have shown a book you. Let me show you. My slide is visible.
No, sir.
Oh,
No, sir, not yet.
oh, sorry. Let me. Ma'am, it is for the beginners. Suppose if you are a beginner, you can start with this book. I personally feel this is a good book, Pandas for Data Analysis.
Okay, sir. But
Or we can start
for
with any video lecture.
yes, sir. But I want to know for machine learning algorithms, which book is good for Python?
Mm, ac- Actually, at present, I don't have the topic. I will share with you, ma'am. I have some
Okay.
books.
That I will inform, sir. No issue. I'll share your contact to her.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Hello, Dr. Sahu.
I think yeah, sorry.
Yes, sir.
Atul sir, are you asking a question?
No, sir. You carry on.
So, Dr. Sahu, I want to know that how much it is advanced than C or C++, Python. How much it is advanced than C and C++?
Actually, sir, for if we are working on a large data set, then it is very slow. Suppose I have to, when I am working in high resolution, I have to move to C and C++ because Python is very slow. If you are working on a very high visualization, high data set.
Could you please inform us that how much memory it requires for a computer, then
But
you know all that C or C++ uses a very low memory of the computer. So I think Python will be using much more memory of the computer, right?
mm, I don't know the sir exact detail, but my personal experience is when in my fluid dynamics problem, when I
Okay.
working with the 2 to the power 18 resolution, then Python program is very slow. So I have to move to C and C++. When I am
Okay.
working on a very high resolution, 2 to the power 18 resolution, 2 to the power 20, in my fluid dynamics problem, I feel that thing. But the memory, I don't know, sir, exactly. Much, I don't have such technical detail.
So which kind of problems, apart from this data analysis,
Mhm.
which kind of problems so far you have solved with Python?
Anything sir, in whatever we can do with MATLAB or Mathematica, we can do in Python also. Actually, sir, I am working here in a government institute, state university. So we
Yes.
don't have access to MATLAB and Mathematica. All this, they are very costly. So I'm moving to Python. Anything, whatever you are doing with Mathematica, MATLAB, you can work with Python also. But for high resolution like that in my problem, I have to move to C coding for C.
And which numerical methods you are using uh, uh, for your
Uh,
solving your problems? You are working
Sir,
in fluid
fluid
dynamics,
dynamics,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So, if
Uh,
you are getting, suppose, differential equations, maybe ordinary or partial,
mhm.
and which numerical methods you are following, and after that, which kind of Python programming you are using?
Sir, in my problem, generally we are using similarity techniques, Lie group techniques, and all this to convert our PDs into ODs. Then
Okay.
we have solved this ODE using RK4, Runge-Kutta-Fock model.
Okay.
And also recently I am learning the spectral method for my fluid dynamics problem, especially turbulent flow problem. I have just started working on spectral method. That can be
I mean
there.
to, I mean to ask, I mean to ask that is what is the role of Python in
Mhm.
solving numerical problems
Mhm. Sir,
apart from data
what we do?
analytics? Yes.
Nee, whatever we do with Mathematica and MATLAB, we are plotting using RK. We are solving in RK4 method. Means whatever we are doing Mathematica and MATLAB, we can do with Python also. Calculation, plotting chart using solving it RK4 method, anything.
So is it comfortable, much more comfortable than MATLAB and Mathematica?
Yes, sir. Most important for me, sir, it is a free software, free source. Because I don't have access to MATLAB, Mathematica. I'm working in a
Yes.
state university. We have
Yes.
lack of
Yes.
funds, so I have to move to free source.
Okay. Thank you. And
Thank you.
anyone else have any questions?
I think, sir, it is online also we can do. We can use this Jupyter.
Yeah,
So it is not
yes.
necessary to download it, yes?
Jupyter, no, you have to download it. You have to
Okay,
install
download.
it into your computer. Yeah, you have to install it. Anaconda you have to install, and Jupyter Integrate IDE you have to install.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. For a nice session, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Sir, which programming language is widely used for data mining or machine learning algorithms?
Which programming language?
Yes. Is it Python or R language, C language?
Uh, Ma'am, it is up to you. Means at least you have to learn either R or Python. It is up to you or your requirement. What you want to do and what actually it is up to your requirement. You have to learn at least one, either R or Python. Both are widely used and both has its strength, both has its weakness. It is up to you, ma'am. You can try both and you can learn any one of them. You have to master at least either R or Python.
Yes, sir. Sir, in between Spider and Jupyter Notebook, which one is better?
I feel Jupyter is better.
Jupyter is better than Spider.
I mean, it is again up to your requirement. PyCharm is also there. You can you have to start working with all this. It is up to your requirement what you want to do. For me, Jupyter is nice.
Okay, sir. Sir, there is
I
any official website to learn Python?
Official website. No, there are many lectures in NPTEL, in SWAM website. You can find many lectures from IITians, IIT Roorkee, IIT Kharagpur. Many lectures are there. And one more, IIT Madras has launched the BSc online degree program. So many lectures you can find. Just simply Google on NPTEL or SWAM website.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else has any questions? If there is no questions, let us express our vote of thanks at the end of the 5th Shiksha Anusandhan weekly academic lecture. I, Dr. Abhijit Sutradhar, the coordinator of this weekly webinar series, namely SWAWAL, from the Center of Applied Mathematics and Computing, had to take a liberty of proposing vote of thanks. We thank the speaker, Dr. Praveen Kumar Sahu, whose talk has surely enriched us, explaining the use of Python in data science. And our thanks are due to the colleagues, scholars, and students in the audience. Our big thanks goes to Dr. Manoj Ranjan Nayak, the Honorable President of Shiksha Anusandhan Deemed to be University, who have always been a source of inspiration to all of us. I extend our thanks to Professor Manjula Das, the head of Center for Applied Mathematics and Computing, and Professor Sunita Chand for the necessary supports, and our colleague Dr. Atul Kumar Dey for helping us to connect with Dr. Sahu, for delivering such a wonderful talk in today's SWAWAL webinar. Lastly, I, on behalf of Center for Applied Mathematics and Computing, Shiksha Anusandhan University, extend our heartfelt thanks to all. So once again, thank you, Dr. Sahu, for joining with us and delivering the talk.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, sir.
Sunita ma'am, do you want to say something?
No, thank you very much, sir, for this nice talk. We got to learn a lot of things. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
So you can
Thanks to all of you.
recording.
Thanks to all of you for joining us. I'm ending the recording of the video,
Okay.
and we can leave as well. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Let's end this session.